American football in Finland.
Voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purpose, and this is American football in Finland. Today, we're going to preview this upcoming week's game in the Maple League. Be sure to follow the podcast everywhere you listen or watch. You can see us visually here on YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to subscribe, follow, and like us. Anyone who listens but doesn't hit that like button, we know you're a hater, but that's okay. We're going to get on with the show anyways. All right, Maple League teams are back in action on Thursday with Seinäjoki Crocodiles versus the Wasa Royals. And then we have Helsinki Roosters versus the Porvoo Butchers on Friday. And Helsinki Wolverines take on the Kuopio Steelers on Saturday. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about each one of these matchups. First games we'll get into Seinäjoki Crocodiles versus the Wasa Royals. Q, what's an interesting storyline or question for this matchup?
I think more than anything, I want to know if the Royals are going to open up the offense a little more, try to get Alpha a little more involved in the offense. Otherwise, just let him play defense because he's just wasting time out there at receiver if you're going to really target him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand you may be trying to play games with the defense and try to get some type of running lanes or something. Like, I don't know. But Alpha's on the field. Alpha needs to touch the ball. It's simple as that. He's the juice. That's why we call him the juice. You know what I mean? Like give him the ball, let him do what he do, let him work. So he give you offense and give your team a chance to win the game. But if he's out there just running routes and you're not going to throw him the ball, there's no point of having him on offense. So I want to see Wasa open their playbook up a little more. I want to see what his quarterback can do a little more because otherwise you're gonna find yourself 0-2. But as far as Seinäjoki, I want to see them do exactly what they did last week. You know, come out, throw the ball, run the ball. Defensively, I want to see a repeat. You know, I want to see if the Crocs defense front seven are really that good. They're going to go up against a bigger line, a somewhat bigger line. I won't say more skilled than Porvoo, but they are, they got some players. So I want to see if the Crocs front seven can handle that run game from the Royals. So it's a lot of, I say trenches. The trenches will be very important in this game. Is more specifically for me, the defensive line for the Crocodiles and the offensive line for the Royals. That's where the battle is going to be. Is going to start and it's going to end because if Swarovski can't run the ball, you can pretty much call it a wrap. From what I've seen so far. So it's going to be I think the Crocs are already expecting that the run game. So I think that'll open up chances for Alpha to get some one-on-ones on the outside, though, because they'll probably have the safeties down or they'll bring them down if they have to. So we'll see. But I think specifically the O-line for the Royals against the D-line against the Crocs.
I agree with that. I got two storylines. First storyline is why don't I have a hat from either one of these teams? I'm just saying. Y'all know where I'm at. Y'all know how to get me. Somebody give me a damn hat. Seinäjoki, Wasa. I don't even care. Just give me a hat. Snapback, of course. That's the only ones I like. Second storyline would be the Botnia Bowl, right? This is the Botnia Bowl. That's what they call it, whatever the hell that means. Where you get that wooden little thing that churns butter, I think. I'd be interested to know if, well, you know what? I'm gonna make a declaration, and I'm gonna call the Wasa Royals the little brother. I'm gonna start calling him the little brother from Seinäjoki because I feel like this is supposed to be a rivalry, and it really goes one way a lot of times, and that's for the Crocodiles.
Mm-hmm.
And someone's gonna go online and do their little, research history, like, oh, the Royals beat them this time. That I don't care. I do not care. In this game, the Crocodiles are the expected better team. We think they're the better team. If they win this game, they're basically the big brother. Now, do the Royals want to accept that? Last week, the way they played last week, they'll accept whatever you give them, apparently. But if they don't accept that, they come out this week and they upset this team and they do something different than what they did in week one. They can't repeat that. We know they can't do that. Like you said, they're not using alpha enough. And I really want to see where are all these like young, good players that we're supposed to be expecting to like rise up this season and contribute. because that's not what we saw in week 1. So against your rivals and against your big brother, and again, I'm gonna keep calling you a big brother till you beat them. Show up. That's the question. Can you show up this week for the Wasa Royals? I mean, I don't think there's anything else really needs to be said from them. They need to show up, and if they don't, another season, being mid 6-6. That's a great way to go. Don't beat any good teams. Moving on to like key matchups in this game. I'll throw out one and then I'll let you throw out one. For me, a key matchup in this is really going to be the Crocodiles run game versus the Royals defensive. I think the Royals defensive front is better than what we saw. But also, they didn't go against a heavy run attack with the Roosters. So to see how they adjust to playing against Christian Powell and what he can do with the ball, I think it's going to be interesting. I think Christian Powell will have his way, but I also think this is a game where we want to see how good those linebackers are from the Royals. Like if tackling Christian Powell will let you know. We saw it last week. Your boy Timmy Nwika from Porvoo got a whole handful from Powell, and it's all on the internet. Is that going to happen to? I don't know. What's the import's name from the Royals? Lolar Prince, something Prince, right?
Yeah,
Prince, Artist. You gonna have to deal with Powell, and how that goes, I'm interested to see. And I think that's really going to be a tell of the tape because if the Crocodiles can run on you, you're done. Like there's nothing you can be able to do against him. But if you can slow him down, which is a very hard thing to do, you got a chance to win this game if your offense shows up. Which again, that's a whole nother thing. But for me, their defensive front really trying to stop the run game from the Crocodiles is what this is a key matchup to watch. What about you? What's a matchup do you think is worth watching in this one?
Well, I kind of had said the O line one, but I'll say the opposite of what you just said is the running back of the Crocodiles and the linebackers of the Royals, because like you said, they're gonna meet, and the game starts with them. I think the Royals defense is more set up to stop the Crocs than it is the Roosters.
Okay.
Because of the front seven package that they have, because of putting RT's back at linebacker, having Prince linebacker. Now we're gonna see if you guys are that deal, because the running back Christian Powell, you see him, he's gonna run the ball at you. You know what I mean? He's not afraid of anybody on the field. So if you're trying to make a statement defensively, this is the game to do it. The backers, you got import backers against an import running back. They're gonna have to meet him in the hole. They're gonna meet him on the side. They're gonna have to see him a lot this game. I think we're gonna get a heavy dose of Christian Powell this game, because the play action. I mean, it'll open up the play action for the quarterback, and they can pass. The Royals secondary need their D line to play really, really well, so they don't have to cover that long, because the Crocs can throw the ball. I mean, simple as that. They can hurt them either way they want to, but I think CP and the linebackers of the Royals will be something very interesting to watch, because if CP has a great game, it's either because they're missing and they can't get to him, or their O-line is just manhandling everybody and everybody's getting blocked. So this is a test of strength right here. This is a real man part of the game. And that's who controls a line of scrimmage. Either the running back is going to the line or the linebackers. So I expect some hard hits. I expect some real chippy play in this game, because both teams run the ball, and we're trying to see who's tougher than the next. So I think Christian Powell against the linebackers for the Royals would be a great matchup to watch.
I want to throw a disclaimer out there also. I wouldn't be surprised if Yanni Sarkula had 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just saying.
Oh yeah,
because the Royals secondary not very good, not very good. So, but again, the run game is what we really think is going to happen. Interesting fact about this game, I think I already said it. The Botnia Bowl is what's interesting. Is that this is like a rivalry and whatever. So we'll move on to the next game. Hit that interlude. Second game we have Helsinki Roosters versus Porvoo Butchers. Oh man, I'll say what I want to say for the interesting aspect, because there is a very interesting aspect about this. But interesting storyline or question you got for these teams, Q?
Interesting storyline. Now, with the Roosters having the injuries that they have, I don't think Porvoo should be this game. You know what I mean? Because I don't think I'm going to get the full scale of the Roosters defense against Porvoo's offense, but we'll get partially of it, the matchups of it. I think the Roosters have an advantage at the receiver position this game against the Porvoo defense, against the
You think
Porvoo
so?
secondary. I think they do. I really
You
think they
don't you
do.
don't you don't trust the changes that they made? You don't believe they upgraded?
I believe they upgraded, but I think the Roosters know what they want to do. I think having two running backs in or having a two running back rotation, you kind of want to get the running game going, but also they get their running backs out in the passing game, a lot. So I think the matchup. I'll just go to the matchup part of it is the secondary. I want to see if Porvo's secondary Zach Wright. I want to see if he's back in his mode, because I believe the Roosters are going to throw the ball on them a lot. I just think they are. I don't think they want to play the front seven game really, because Porvo is a gritty team and you already have some injuries. So why would you want to go into the next game trying to be extra, want to run and run and run?
Physical, yeah.
Yeah, there's no point of doing that right now because you don't have to. You got to win the last game. What you want to try to do is you want to go out there and play and you want to go out there and win, but you don't want to take any more losses trying to be overly aggressive. And so I think the Roosters will I think Ambro will, he had a good game. Ambro had a good game, and I think they'll run that back. I think they'll open up and maybe throw some more plays out there and get him going and throw the ball. So I think Porvo is going to have to really make some plays defensively in the secondary.
I think for me, the storyline is, really it's the question for the Butchers is, can you bounce back? The Roosters don't have anything to prove in this game. They came out in week one and showed like, okay, we can be a really good team. And we respect that and we will call them a good team. The Butchers didn't prove that in their first game. They had a lot of personnel situations that didn't match up against the Crocodiles. They were flat energy wise. The only thing they really had going for them was them jerseys was fire, and that's cool. But you need more than good looking jerseys to win a game. And I think in this game, when you're looking at the Butchers versus the Roosters, you're looking at two very good teams, and who's going to show up? Are the Butchers going to show up and get this game they need to win? Because losing this game, that means you're not as good as these two teams. Like, that's what everybody's going to say. That throws you into you can't be but third or fourth place in the league. And they can't feel like that way as the reigning champions, which, again, I got to stop saying that season's over. I know. But I really feel like the Butchers, that first game, I call it a mulligan. I'll give you a mulligan. You messed up. You did some things you shouldn't have done. How you bounce back in this game really is going to tell us what kind of team you are. Are you going to make the adjustments? Are you going to fix the offensive personnel so that you get your offensive linemen? Look at who they have on defense. Make sure you get your linemen matched up against the right guy. Like, move your linemen around. You have a very talented offensive line. From what I saw and knowing some of those players' background, they have an offensive line where you can literally move all the pieces. Like, you can rotate those guys where you need them. And they just need to find out the right rotation so that they can, one, run the ball in this game, especially if they're not going to have their full force at receivers, which that's what it looked like last week. Again, I don't know. I'm not in their locker room trying to figure out who's healthy, who's not. I don't care. But I do know that going into this game, we're going to be looking to see, are the Butchers going to show up and play like they're trying to win a championship, or are they going to just try to survive another week? And again, if they're just trying to survive, Roosters going to stomp them, whether they got enough players or not. That's just how the Roosters play. They don't play like that to just let you hang around. But I also want to throw this out there and just throwing, fuel on the fire. Last time these two teams played, Roosters was up by 17. Ended up losing because of that man, number 0, Zach Wright. So if Zach Wright comes and does what he should do, he knows that the Roosters offense pretty well. He should have a great understanding of what they're trying to do. He's a very high IQ player, and he's going to have opportunity. Like you said, Roosters going to throw the ball. So if Zach Wright comes out there and makes plays like he should, they got a chance. I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm hoping for a closer game than any of the games we saw last week. But if I go matchups, I hadn't actually thought about the matchup in this one. I'm gonna double down on what you said. I think right receivers
Mhm.
versus DBs. Yeah,
Yeah.
Roosters receivers versus Butchers DBs. I think that's the matchup for sure. I like the Silvestri. I don't know if it's Sylvester or Silvestri, how you pronounce his name. The other import they got. He started out playing safety. They found out their corners weren't good enough. They moved him out to corner. It was too late at that point. Yanni had already did his work, and the Crocodiles had kind of already took over the game. But if they figure this out early of where they need to put these imports between Sylvester, Zach Wright, and then you have a linebacker in Timmy Nuika who can also help you in coverage. I mean, obviously he's going to be trying to tackle the running back. I can't remember the running back's name. Is it Greenfield? Sorry. Yeah, Greenfield. He's always going to Timmy's going to have to guard him, but if they can figure out how to slow down the passing game for the Roosters between those guys, putting them in the right position and getting in the right matchups, maybe. But now that I'm talking about it out loud, I'm more in agreement to what you said is they might not have enough people to stop the passing attack. It might be too many bodies coming at them because they're not going to be able to just make them. You're not going to always get the right matchup, and that's all it's going to take is if they get anybody matched up on their number 2 corner, you have to have Wright on that side, which is going to put stress on whoever the other side safety is. So that, and again, the Roosters actually have a couple formations where they use tight ends and they use their running back in the passing game. So that's going to be a mismatch against the safety, depending on where they do it. So, yeah, that's the matchup. I think that's going to be tough. But an interesting aspect about this game that I want to talk about is these two teams are the most successful teams in the Maple League, like all time. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head because I'm not that type of nerd, but I think the Roosters have like 12, 13 championships and Butchers have like 10, like close to very close number. And with the Butchers winning last year, they're even closer to what the Roosters have. Both teams, I think, are 1979 teams, original Maple League teams. Both of them had their own little stretches of wins. And since, what is it? When was the last time the Roosters won? 2018?
18.
Yeah, since 2018, they both have been good but not great. And now you have the Butchers who won championship last year. I mean, if I was a Roosters, like diehard Roosters fan, I'd have a little animosity towards this team that I always felt was more like little brother. I'd feel like this is kind of one of those games. And anybody who lives in the Finland area, in the Helsinki area, knows that, whenever the Butchers have home games, people from Helsinki drive over to Porvoo and watch that game. And same thing happened when Helsinki had a home game this last Thursday. There was a lot of Porvoo guys in the stands. Now, they're not wearing Roosters gear. They might not even be wearing Porvoo gear, but they're watching. I mean, they're probably rooting for the other team, but they're always watching each other. So there's a lot of history in this game, and there's a lot online pride-wise. I think that these two teams are very similar organizationally of having success and expecting success from their players. So when they come out and play these games, it's more important than just who wins and who loses. It's more about representing your city and representing your organization. And there's history behind it. Those old man teams that come before the game and have the Lettermans on and stuff, they be talking some mess about these games, privately. But there's a lot on the line. There's guys that played in like 1992 who are like, I will always love the Roosters, F the Butchers. And same thing from guys from the Butchers in the same time period. And that's who you're playing for, guys. Like, football is a legacy sport. So in this game, this is one of the biggest legacy games. Like, I don't really care about that whole Botnia Bowl thing because I feel like that was pre-made. But this is an actual rivalry. Like, it stems from the city, from organizations, and it's ongoing, and it's still there. So that's a very interesting aspect of this game. And I'll leave it with that, and we'll move on to the last game. Are you a fan of the American Football in Finland podcast? Show your support in style. Rock our logo proudly on hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, and snapbacks, all designed for fans like you. Join us in celebrating American football in Finland. grab your gear, and be a part of the AFF community. All right. I'm not sure how much talking we'll be able to do about this game, but we have Helsinki Wolverines versus Kuopio Steelers. We haven't seen the Wolverines, so we don't really know what to expect. But what is an interesting storyline or question you got for this game, Q?
Whew. Well, Wolverines. What do you got? What do you got?
What do you got? That's exactly what I was
What do you got?
thinking.
I mean, simple as that. I just want to know what the Wolverines got, man, because right now I don't think what they can put out will be any worse than what I've already seen from certain teams. So, what do you have? What are you going to show the league this year? More so because you're coming into a game in which you probably on paper have no chance. I wouldn't even say on paper. I'd say on film that you probably don't have a chance either, but I don't want to count them out. I just want to know if the Wolverines actually tried in the offseason to work on certain things. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know, what are you planning on doing? Are you just planning on surviving this year? Are you trying to just win a game, win 2 games, whatever it is? I just want to see something better than what we seen last year. I want to see a lot of the younger guys that got experience last year. I want to see them play a little better this year. This is, I think, what we're going to see from them. I don't think they're going to just come into this game and surprise a whole bunch of people, but I would like to see the development that you've been working on with the younger players. So there's nothing really like I can't even – we haven't seen the Wolverines yet to say what they're going to look like or what they're going to offer, but I just hope it's good, and I hope it's something that they can build on. That's all I really got for it.
Yeah, for me, I guess the interesting storyline for me is Kuopio Steelers, you lucky son of a guns. Like, you couldn't have asked for a better way to start the season. Can you run it back? That's pretty much it. I'm expecting to see, like you said, same thing, different jerseys. That's what I expect, because I haven't seen the Wolverines do much in the offseason to make me think otherwise. And I'm thinking that Steelers go out there, put up another 50 burger plus cheese on top, maybe some lettuce, tomatoes, mayo, all the works. Put up 70. I'm with it. And I really think that's what's going to happen, and we'll just have to see how it goes. If we go matchups in this game, I'll start this one off. I'm not sure what matchup the Wolverines will be able to really attack to show us anything, but I am interested to see how their defensive backs do against the Steelers receivers. I think that, and not more so the Steelers receivers, more so Josh Taylor being able to throw it to different people. The Wolverines have been known to use very young kids at DB last year. Had some like 17, 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, I think, out there. If they do that again this year, it'd just be unfair. So I'm really interested to see what they do, like playing against a guy. I know they have Darius Lewis, and he's not a kid, so that's one. But that's one, and you need like 4 or 5. So I'm interested to see how the rest of the defensive secondary holds up against the Kuopio Steelers. What about you? What's a matchup in this that you like?
I want to say that the Kuopio, I say O-line against D-line. That's what I'm gonna go with it. O-line against D-line. Kuopio didn't really get tested this past game, so I want to see how strong really their O-line is. I want to see if they're going to be able to move guys around, move bodies down the field efficiently and with some force.
Well, let me throw this out there real quick, just not to cut you off. Well, kind of to cut you off is because you're talking about the Steelers O line. Did we see them really like run the ball much last time?
I mean, they wasn't trying to like make an impression of running. They just kind of ran some run plays, but it seems like they were more pass based than anything in this game.
Yeah.
Which knowing Nessie, I'm not surprised.
Nessie,
that's
what I was thinking.
Was like that. Nessie throw the ball 40 times a game himself when he was playing. So, I know he likes that. So it doesn't surprise me. That's why I say I want to really see if the Kuopio O-line can really hold up to a pressure to some kind of, stunts and blitzes. And if they can, then that's great for them. But I think that's more than anything what I want to see in this game is to see if their O-line is really legit and and if they're taking command of the field, you know what I mean? When you see an O-line go out there, like if you see a
there should
team
be
score 60
pancakes,
points,
right?
yeah,
There
yeah,
should be pancakes in this game.
yeah, because I mean, it's hard to not see the 60 points, and then you come into the next game and like we see 20 points and 21 points, so you're like, oh, okay, so was it just that team was just that bad that y'all just was, look that good, or if they're really a good O-line, good offense, he has time, no matter who they play, they can make these plays still. So I think that's what I want to see more than anything.
Yeah. Interesting aspect of this game. Hold on, who's the home team? I'm trying to think if there's something. No, the Wolverines are the home team. So the Steelers are gonna be in the same white jerseys. Wolverines are gonna be in some blue jerseys. It would be interesting if they brought back the yellow jerseys. You remember that? They haven't worn the yellow jerseys in a couple of years, right? I like those yellow jerseys, man. Bring them back. I like them. I actually have a hat from both of these teams, so shout out to that. That's a very interesting aspect. But other than that, let's get into these picks. All right. So we got weekend picks coming up, but let's keep up with our online picks of the rankings. First week is weird. I'm just gonna put that out there. So don't be hating too early. First place, Andy B at 3-0. See, that's weird because he was at the bottom last year. Coach Q 2-1. Third place, Chris Green 2-1. Fourth place, Finland Swami 2-1. Fifth place, Coach Mike 2-1. Sixth place, Jamal Clay 2-1. And really, what? 2, 1, 2,
Porvoo,
3,
everybody that
5,
lost picked
5.
Porvoo.
Yeah, 5 of y'all are basically in second place at 2-1, and then Perfect is in seventh at 1-2, and Ellie is in last at 1-2. Which again, the Porvoo game is really what decided what went on. Because had anybody got that game right, you become 3-0 for you guys, and some of us would be 2-1. I mean, I picked Wasa and they let me down. It happens. But picking winners, not easy, but we're gonna give it a shot each week anyways. And we've already talked about the games briefly. So now we'll just pick who we like and why. And our picks will be available on Instagram at American Football in Finland, where you can make your comments. No need to send us DM. Just comment on the line, help the algorithm out. But Coach Q, let's get your picks and why.
Woo! Here we go. First game. Oh, Dolo, you got to say it because I don't forgot.
Now I got to look it up. First game is Crocs and the Royals.
Crocs and Royals. I'm going Crocs. Game should be Roosters and
Butchers.
I'm going Roosters, baby.
I mean, duh.
Roosters, baby. Question who I'm picking in that game.
And then you got Wolverines and Steelers.
Steelers, baby. Kuopio Steelers third game. They probably gonna put up another 60 burger.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, now tell us why you picked who you picked.
The reason that I picked the Kuopio Steelers, I'll start with them first since they're the last one. I just think they're just better coached, better ready team for this game. They already got one game under their sleeve, so coming into the second game, you kind of already know what you want to work on. Yes, you don't know what the Wolverines have, but you're going into this game confident with a W. So that's where I'm going. Kuopio, Roosters against the Butchers. I'm going to go Roosters because I think some kind of way the Roosters offense will pull it off. Some kind of way. I think we won't see what Porvoo did last week. I think we'll see a totally different Porvoo game this week, but I just think the Roosters will edge them some kind of way. I don't know. I got a feeling. And then Crocs and Royals. Crocs, just because I think they're a better team right now. I think they're a better team. The Royals is not pressure, but it's like they're going to have to show a lot this game in order to beat the Crocs. They're going to have to show a lot offensively to beat the Crocs. I think defensively they'll be okay. I think they'll be all right on defense against the Crocs. Not saying they'll be, 3 and out type of situations, but I think their imports are good imports. They'll find ways to get the offense off of the field. I just think their offense is going to keep them on the field so much that they don't have enough to withstand the Crocs the whole game. So that's why I'm going with my pick.
Yeah. Just Chris wasn't here, but to throw out his picks, he had the Crocs, Roosters, and Steelers as well. And I think it's gonna be a clean sweep from us. I'm going Crocs, Roosters, Steelers also. And I'll explain Crocs over Royals. Crocs looked better than the Royals. The Royals got to prove something. They went out and did nothing last week. At least Crocodiles have something to build on. I think they're a better team. I do think the Royals can compete with them. I think it might be close. I hope it's close. But ultimately, Crocodiles are just a better team. And then the Roosters versus Butchers, I think this would be a toss-up. Like, I could have went either way. But last week, I picked the Butchers, and they let me down. And last week, I picked against the Roosters, and they went and won. So I'm gonna go with the Roosters this week. I'm gonna stick with the Roosters. I think they win this game, and similar to the first game, I do think it's gonna be close though. I don't think these two teams are too far off. And like you said, I just think the Roosters end up edging them. I think when it comes to down to one play here, one play there, the Roosters are gonna make it, and the Butchers won't. I don't think they have that it factor right now. They came out really flat in week one. I don't see them coming out with more excitement as they have to go to the velodrome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's where seasons go to end anyways. So with that going on, they just might not get the win. The last game, obviously, we go with the Steelers over the Wolverines because they're the Steelers and they're the Wolverines. It is what it is. But we'll be excited to see if the Wolverines can show up and compete. That's all we're really looking for is can they compete at least better than what we saw from the Crusaders last week. That's all we really can compare them to right now. But that's our picks. And shoot, that's it. We can get up out of here. Hey there, fans of American football in Finland. Want to show some love and support to your favorite podcast? For just €3, you can buy us a cup of coffee and help keep our podcast running strong. But why stop at one cup? Why not support each host with a cup? Visit buymeacoffee.com and show your support today. Cheers to keeping the conversation going. And that's it for this episode of American Football in Finland. Q, any last words before we get out of here?
No, just good luck to the guys, man. Can't wait to see the games this week. Come out and do your thing and give us something to brag about on here.
Yeah, good luck to all the teams this weekend, and we'll see you next year. We'll see you next week, right here on the AFF podcast. Subscribe, follow, like, and share on all social media channels at American Football in Finland. Until next time, never forget
T
I
F.
We gone.
We gone.